So what has been your favorite part about doing it?
Oh man. Um Honestly, the best part about doing it was the community of people. As corny and as cheesy as that sounds, bro, like just having that moment and being able to share that stage with like 15 complete strangers, but like we became a bond and like not like a family, but like you know what I'm saying? It was like this level of camaraderie that we had, that we were all like ridiculously nervous. We all know the trenches that we've been through. You know what I'm saying? Like
You
preparing
crossed the
for
burning
6 months.
sands together, yo.
Straight up, bro. You know what I'm saying? And like we all put in that work. Like some of us met, virtually. Some of us did actually meet beforehand because they had us come up there like in July, 3 months before, and all that, just for some practice and all that, just to get to know each other. But yeah, man, it was a hell of a process. So like just the bond that we had, everybody in this small ass green room, but we all on the computer watching everybody on stage, and then when they came
Mm,
off, we all was in the hallway, like hugs and high fives and all that shit. Like it was fire, man. That experience alone, just being back there with all them folks, man, it was amazing. It was amazing.
mm. Congrats, yo.
And the fact that it's over, man,
Yeah,
that was
right.
a hell of a process, bro.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That shit was tough.
I can
So
imagine the
yeah,
pressure. Like I didn't even
just
know that they have 42 million subscribers
oh
for
man, crazy.
TEDx for the on the YouTube channel. So I was just like, wow. And it's
Yeah.
so funny because it's it can spark at any time between now and whenever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's there now.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Yep.
eventually it's just gonna hit momentum, and then there's gonna be something that happens or something that triggers people to want to go and search it, and it's just gonna blow up, man. So it's just a matter of time now. Like the
Mhm.
has been set. So congrats again,
Yeah.
yo.
Thank you,
Speaking
bro.
of potentially world changing events, 2024 has really been something like that, right? Like we started this
Man.
year like, oh wow, that's crazy. Cat Williams said this and then this and the third, but coming towards the end of it, seeing not just in music, not just in politics, but seeing how easy like we are discerning people. We aren't people that are easily swayed by somebody
Mm.
showing us or somebody giving us information that's just countercultural. So we're gonna take it. But and for me, Billy Carson, like losing the debate with the religious scholar, I could have even like, not defended that, but I could have understood it because if you're not scholarly, just like Terrence Howard and Brett Weinstein, right? If you're not scholarly,
Mhm.
you're not going to really know stuff about what scholarly people say. So just because people say, oh well, this is refuted as fake, it's like okay, well they saw that blah blah blah. You're just like you're just believing these people the same way I'm believing what I heard. You know what I'm saying? So just because you have more people that gather around and believe you, and you guys, I don't know. But his reaction, bro. So anyway, 2024, man.
Mm.
How has it been for you?
Damn, that's loaded. Like in what facet, bro? Like we
Let's say,
talking
well, yeah,
personally,
yeah, 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 yeah.
professionally, just viewing the world, you know what I'm saying?
Let's say what has impacted you that wasn't in your immediate family, home, work space.
Man. It's really tough to say. I guess the thing that pops into my mind first is just this whole. I feel like this political season was, maybe it's because coming of age and being older and understanding politics even more, and now having seen these cycles a few times,
It's true. That's true.
it's like you
You've
you
seen the
kind of
circus a
you
couple
kind
times.
of yeah, and so you kind of know what to expect.
Mm,
But this one was just so different, man, with like having Biden in it, and then that debate, and it was a landslide in Trump's favor, and then they prop up Kamala and she comes in, and then it was like it seems like politics have always been divisive, but with putting Kamala in it, it
mm.
just turned into something where it just divided. Even black people were divided. You know what I'm saying? Like in a way that was weird. I'm like, man, we black people are really divided over the Kamala versus Trump, and then it's like we've already had like the fallout of Kevin Samuels and the rise of
Mhm.
relationship,
Grifter.
so-called relationship podcasts, and then we have this masculine versus feminine, and then we got Kamala,
Mm.
this black or so-called black, depending on what side of the spectrum you believe her blackness to be valid and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like wherever you're at on that spectrum, that's gonna be where you land on that argument, and then we just
Right,
have
right.
friends, coworkers, family members at odds, bro, over this woman who we don't even know nothing
For
about.
sure, for
And
sure.
she just got put in this position like just a few months before the election. It's just
Mhm.
I was just like, bro, this election cycle, it was different, man. It was different.
It's definitely gonna be one for the books. It's gonna be one that's
Yeah.
studied because all of the Russiagate, all of the other stuff that happened with the last one or the last 2, this one just seemed to be like, "Alright, like, that's it." You know what I mean? And this one
Hmm.
is particularly scary to me because, again, I don't know if it's because I'm paying more attention, I'm older, I kind of see this game going. I kind of see how this game has gone, but it really
Hmm.
feels like before the train conductor before the conductor switches the train, or you know what I mean? Like before the train switches conductors, it feels like the conductor that's on his way out just is trying to crash this thing. Like get it off the rails and then get to give the next conductor just a pile of like wreckage. You know what I'm saying? Like for
Hmm.
it is scary. It is the three things that were most scary to me is money going outside of the country. Uh like it has I've never seen it has been so difficult for my family, for anybody that I know that's come from Nigeria, that
Mm.
immigration process is it has bottlenecked. You know what I mean? Like there are so few people
Really?
who can actually come through that process, and seeing it happen just very cavalierly for other people, that's number 2.
Mm.
And then number 3 was October 7th. Number 3 was definitely what America is like siding with when it comes to Israel's retribution and this whole thing against Russia. And like it just feels like all of this is going crazy. What's going on right now? And we have a month. Yeah, a month, right? We have a month. I think it's like January 16th or is it
January.
20th?
I don't. Yeah, like earlier mid January, something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Um,
Hmm.
there's so much that can still happen, man. How about we avoid
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know, dude. I don't know, but it seemed either candidate. My question to people whoever watches this, and I think I already asked you, but I need to make T-shirts like, who did Bernie vote for? Because
Mm.
oh my god, I just realized Bernie Sanders and Bernie Mac are probably the only 2 people that I would ever vote like with confidence for to be president.
What?
Wait, I just realized that. The 2 Burns, yo. Nah, man. Those are the only 2 people that I
That
could be
was
like, "Oh, no, this person is really about to, do the
that was a
inconvenient."
wild that was a wild revelation, bro. You were
In
stopped in
real
your
time,
tracks,
bro, like,
bro.
I
Wait,
just it really did just come to me.
Bernie Mac
Oh,
and
yeah, when
Bernie
I talked
Sanders.
about like, this was back when Kanye was running for president, stuff like that, and I started to think, like, who was a celebrity that I would actually have faith in him being who I see him to be? You know what I'm saying? And the only one that came to mind was Bernie Mac.
You know what I noticed, bro. This is now that you're talking about it. This is what really jumped out to me about the political situation. I realized how childish the American public really is. I'm talking about grown ass adults. We are so childish, bro. Like when it comes to the way
Mm,
that we reason and our logic behind
right,
who we support and why we support them
yeah.
and the reason and logic behind why we don't support or why we want to You know what I'm saying? And it's just like the demonization and the name calling and the judgments that are baseless. You know what I'm saying? It's just like real base level,
High
egocentric
school.
types
Is high
of reason.
school
Is
you're not in the group? You are the outsider, like, we gotta, like, shame
you
you
the op?
into
I
you
can't
the
talk
op.
to you. I can't
Right.
associate with you. Like, you know what I'm
Oh, that's
saying?
how
I'm
you
just
get
like,
down? No,
yo,
I can't even get down with you. It's like, why?
and I'm not Republican or Democrat or nothing.
Same,
I'm not. I
same.
mean, technically, I think I registered as a Democrat when I was 18 because who wasn't a Democrat at the time of
Right,
Obama, right?
right.
You know what I'm saying, or pre-Obama. But I really don't ascribe to either side, and I'm not for or against. I'm just a person. I'm a citizen of the United States, right? And so I'm looking at this,
Mm.
feeling like on the outside looking in, and I'm seeing people just like really demonize stuff, and
Exercising
especially
their
when
choice.
the deep, yeah, and I'm seeing like the demonization of Trump,
Mm.
and people trying to scare others for voting for Trump, as if we didn't already live through a
4 years
Trump
of Trump.
era. They're making it seem like if you let him in office, this is going to happen. Like we already
That's what
let
they
him in
said the
office,
first time.
right? They said that like y'all using the same stuff. Like this
Same
is so
stuff.
childish. Like who are you talking to? I'm a whole grown adult. I lived through that. Like I'm not dumb. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it was real, and then I'm just seeing people be divided, man, over that silly stuff. And it's like the biggest thing about the election isn't the fact that Trump got in office or that Kamala got in office. The biggest fallout from the election to me is that the Republicans swept.
That's a good point.
Now that is dangerous.
That's
Just
a
the fact
dangerous
of now the fact of a Democrat or a Republican in the executive branch, that by itself is not dangerous, but the fact that one party has all three branches,
Bloods took over.
that is dangerous.
Yeah.
Straight up, straight up. So now there's a reason to have real caution and pause, because like they can do whatever they want almost at will with
Mm.
little to no opposition, and then that's where you kind of get in a potential civil war type situation because the other
Mm.
side just feels helpless and powerless. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, it was just, yeah, it was crazy. It was just a
It's
wild election,
interesting
bro, for
because the
sure.
other side doesn't have political power, but they have social power, right? So
Hmm. Hmm.
social media, all of that has a very democratic lean to it. So while the
Facts.
political judicial power has leaned right, very much the quote unquote voice of the people, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Is
Hmm.
one, I think it's co-opted, and two, it's very democratic now. It's I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
it still is. So
Hmm.
I think both sides still have their swords. You know what I'm saying? Both sides are still um dangerous. And I think that lends towards what you're saying about the Civil War. You had me think about a
Hmm.
thing, and I really need to start writing stuff down. I know I'm gonna have to start writing things down so I don't forget them. Oh, I found myself in these last two elections constantly going back to a very specific Malcolm X quote. And
Mm.
while I don't have the quote pulled up and I don't remember it, the gist of it was, "Yo, be careful who the media props up in front of you
Yep.
and who the media is siding against, because they will have
Hmm.
you hating your helper," or whatever he said. He will have you hating the victim and like loving and cherishing the perpetrator. And I cannot help but think about that specific quote, especially during this presidential race. You know what I'm saying? Before voting this year,
Hmm.
that's something that I think was extremely apparent, and that made me wonder, like, where is this going and why? Why is he such a thorn in the side of the establishment, both parties? His party wasn't rock with him either. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
I thought
I
that was,
got the quote.
oh, talk to me.
It says the media is the most powerful entity on earth. They have the power. Oh shit, pop ups. They have the power to make the innocent guilty and make the guilty innocent, and that's power because they control the minds of the masses.
Mm, 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 mm.
Yeah,
That's some dangerous stuff to me, and I
yeah,
have to look at whoever the media doesn't agree with. You know what I'm saying? Because it's served me in the past.
Mhm.
That's another reason why this whole Billy Carson thing is so crazy because his face was everywhere, dude. His face was if
Mm.
you were in any kind of countercultural information or, ancient past or whatever, you constantly are seeing him. And but you're
Mhm.
not seeing the John Anthony Wests. You're barely seeing the Graham Hancocks. You're not seeing the Robert Shocks. And these are just, like ancient history and things like that. I don't even know a lot of the other uh topics or pockets of counterculture.
I would say so for sure because it affected family and friends, and it really affected how I interacted with a lot of people that were close to me because it was just such a heightened sense of urgency. You know what I'm saying? And the stakes were high, and people were on edge, man. You know what I'm saying? And so it was just like I just really had to. I hate saying it and I hate doing it, but I had to bite my tongue a lot
Mm,
around different groups of people because I just seen stuff come out of people where it's like, yo, did you really just say that?
mm.
Did you just say that to me? Like, are you serious? Like, whoa, I gotta fall back. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm talking about like every friends, family, coworker, like it was just certain conversations and I'm having like, oh wow, this is
Right. This is
I'm a
emotional.
fall back, bro, because yeah, I don't even want to get into it because just having a difference of opinion is seen as
Right.
you're against, like you're anti. And I'm like, I'm not with none of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but not picking a side is almost
You
like
you
picking a
picking a side.
side.
You picked a
And
side.
yeah, and I'm just like, man, I just don't like the two-party system. Like, why
Mm.
can't we have three, five, eight? You know what I'm saying? Like,
'Cause
can we have a
America's built
bracket?
on
Can we have
teams, yo.
playoffs?
Nah.
I want playoffs, bro. You know what I'm
What?
saying? Like, I don't
Playoffs?
want just
I need that. I
yeah.
need that. I need that in my Serato. I need playoffs in my
Can we
Serato.
have political playoffs, bro? Like, can we have a quarterfinal, a semifinal, and then a final? Like, this is
The
crazy,
bracket?
bro.
Oh, man.
Can we have a
Speaking of
bracket like October Madness, November Mad? Like, that would be dope, bro. You know what I'm saying?
October Madness is crazy. Speaking
Straight
of,
up.
I just listened to a podcast where they were talking about, sports betting and how sports betting
Mm,
is rampant amongst young men. And this is another way of
I
getting that
believe it.
dopamine hit. That same dopamine hit you're getting
Hmm.
from pornography, that you're getting from social media, that you're getting that that you're that you're getting from betting now. That
Hmm.
we are in essence, especially people that are in college and younger, we're in essence giving them another. It's a double-edged sword. Oh man, that's another thing I wanted to talk about. We got to talk about a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but it is going to be one of the biggest wealth generators in the next 10, 15 years potentially. But the lives that it's going to destroy, you know what I mean? Not to mention
Mm-hmm.
all of these people have so much data. So you're going to be if they see that you're losing consecutively, it's like Vegas but in your pocket now. And Vegas has so much data on
Yeah.
you and they're getting continuous data on you. So you're going to have that monkey on your back for way longer and it's going to be easier for you to hide. It's not going to be like a drug addiction or you know what I mean, like any kind of other addiction that's a little bit more public. This one you can hide way better. They say these
Mm,
next few years it's going to be really, really, really difficult for a lot of young people that don't know
mm.
how to prepare themselves against this. Sports betting is going to be a little crazy. What are your thoughts?
Uh, I think it's better than crack.
Okay, better. When you say better,
I
talk.
think I think it's not as destructive as crack or like just hard drugs, you know. So if you're just addicted to chasing the high of hitting that parlay over chasing a high of
And
you know what I'm
I
saying? Like
I don't see a
yeah,
difference, bro.
but also I think I feel you, but I would say the thing about sports betting, not that I deleted them all off my phone because I always lose. I'm like, this is a waste of time and a waste of money because I always I always lose. There was a time like when it first started, I was good. Like when it was, I feel like they weren't as refined. Like, oh, I could, oh, this is easy. Oh, this what they giving me. But then they got like the betting apps got better and they got more tied into to Vegas, and so now it's like it's harder. The lines are
Mm,
tighter and it's harder to hit. So I was like. Oh, I've been losing like the last 2 years when I used to win back in like 2016, 2017,
Oh
2018. You know what I'm saying?
wow.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm done. Yeah, like back when it was just like FanDuel
Right.
and then FanDuel, it was FanDuel and DraftKings. Like
And
I was
DraftKings.
back then,
Mm.
and it was easy. Like, it was so easy, bro. I was always winning, but I wasn't winning a lot. It was like, all right, $10 here,
$5,
15,
20.
20,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
50, whatever. Like, but now it's like big money, and so the lines are tighter, whatever. But I say all that to say there are skills that are transferable when it comes to betting and risk management. And so
Mm,
you can take that into stocks and stock options and investments. Like that's kind of transferable. There's not much of a transferable skill. I mean, there's transferable skills from street shit and like, selling and whatever, but like you're
mm.
more liable to hurt your family and get
You're right,
addicted
right.
and steal from people and
And
go to
it's still
prison
illegal.
and
The
all that type of
illegality
stuff.
of it as well is gonna really be hurtful.
Right. And so now you're like if your vice is something that's legal and it's not going to put you in jail
Right.
for an ounce of a parlay, you know what I'm saying? Then you're good. You know what I'm saying? Or you're better off than an ounce of a parlay versus an ounce of crack is like the difference between 0 and 25 years. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not doing 25 to life with
Oh,
a kilo of parlays in the trunk. You know what I'm saying? So
yo, kilo parlay. Alright, so we were talking about gambling. Um, do you
yes,
mind?
sir.
Yes. Gambling and crack, I guess we're gonna have to go
The kilo of parlays in the trunk, bro. Yeah,
the
that's
parlays might lose you your house, bro. Them and them parlays can be on credit.
that's a
Man,
fact.
crack can't be on credit though, man. Let's take the illegal. Let's just say both of
Mm-hmm.
them were legal. Crack cannot get you
Mm-hmm.
into debt. Dope boys ain't swiping
Okay.
like that. Uh, what's Tell me about your relationship with forbidden knowledge and
Oh my god. Oh my god. I got a lot. Hold on. I gotta find the book. Can I find the book in a quick order?
the Hermeticum? The
So
Hermeticum? Try
here
to
it
get
goes right here. Hold on. Hold on.
Oh, that's
So
funny.
Billy, after listening to Billy, back in the around that podcast era,
Mm.
2017, 2018, 2019, hearing him talk about the Anunnaki, and that was my deconstruction period of leaving Christianity
Right,
and all that
right.
type of stuff. Um, and so I had some confirmation bias with Billy. You know what I'm saying? He was telling me all the things that I kind of already felt was true, and there was some conviction bias going on. Like he said it with such conviction.
Mm,
He looked the part, so
mm.
I was inclined to believe him. But the thing is about me, I will always want to like I like what he said, but I also wanted to follow up and read what he read so that I can come to the conclusion on my own. Even though I like it, I'm like I want to read it myself.
I don't want him to
And
be
so I
my
bought
sole.
this.
Okay.
Yeah, so I bought this back in the day. Myths from Mesopotamia, Epic
Oh,
of
okay.
Gilgamesh, Creation Flood Story, the Epic of Atrahasis. Um, I think it had enumeration here. Uh, Seven Tablets of Creation. Uh, the Descent of Ishtar to the Underworld, and some other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it had it in here. So it's funny too. So my relationship with Billy is listening to him, reading some books, but I also very early on I came to some of the conclusions that West came to. Was
Mm,
like he would say all these things and make all these claims, but then when I read these books, I didn't see the similarities that he said.
mm.
Right? And so I'm like, I seen a few, like the Epic of Atrahasis is basically almost is very closely aligned to the Book of Noah and the flood and all that. Like it's very closely aligned. So Atrahasis is like the only thing where in Genesis I can see where it's like, okay, that story right there, that was in the Sumerian story. And so then it comes down to which one came first? Was it the Sumerian story or was it the
I try to see.
Babylonian story or
Mm.
so on? You know what I'm saying? So there's that one, but like most of what he said, it's just like, wait, so where are the similarities? Because he's saying like word for word, shot for shot, and I'm like, it's not word for word. It's a few things in here, but at the end of the day, I liked the reclaiming of knowledge and just having a difference of opinion and all that. And but I'd never really like followed him or believed everything that he said, but I liked what he said. And then but then I would read the book of Enoch. So I bought the book of Enoch. And that's a very confusing book and it's very boring. And a lot of the shit that he said about about the Nephilim and all that, like it
Uh-huh.
I didn't see I didn't read that in Enoch. So I'm like,
Mm.
what is it? What is he get? Where is he
Where's he
getting
getting
this
this
from?
from?
Like, how is he
Right.
coming to these conclusions? Because I'm not seeing it. But I wasn't such a big proponent of him to like, debate on his behalf or like say, what I'm saying. I wasn't dogmatic about him,
I
but
agree with that.
I did like what he represented for
I
sure.
agree with that. Wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
I never got information from him, but as soon as I heard him say, I'm like, "Oh shit, that was part of, this documentary series that I watched or this book or this lecture that I listened to."
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
oh, okay,
Hmm.
he thinks the same thing. Oh, okay, well, yeah, the Earth might be, older than. Oh, okay, well, they talked about the Eye of the Sahara. Oh, okay, well, they talk about Nibiru and all these different things. Like there was
Yeah.
definitely
Yep. Yep.
but he was not. I agree with you. He was not the sole arbiter of that information for me. You know what I mean? It was
Hmm.
confirmation into what I already thought was curious. So I never really dived deep,
Yep.
and there was just something about those eyes, bro. I've seen that before.
Hey.
I
Yeah.
could not get over how expressionless they were. And I really felt
Yeah.
I really I that alone made me not want to like entertain. You know what I mean? I just couldn't. He just
Yeah.
I couldn't get along with
Nah,
him.
that's real.
So
Yeah,
that
it
is
was
I
it
think
was
that's telling.
too reptilian for me, bro.
Come on now. That was a mask for sure, right? Two reptilians.
It was too reptilian, like for real. Like I'm not even joking. He always had a
Yeah.
reptilian look. I'm like, that's kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? Like his eyes are just the slant and like the lack of
There's
uh
just a lack of emotion, no matter
the whiteness.
how inflective his
Yeah,
voice was, no matter where, if he was getting excited about a topic, it's just if it's not reflected in your eyes, like I can. What is that supposed to mean? You know what I mean? Like the
yeah,
eyes are really
yeah.
something I pay attention to for sure. So, um, I
Hmm.
don't. Again, I could have looked past the L that he took in the debate because
Hmm.
I think about other people that have been counter to the topics that they talk about. My favorite person is Graham Hancock right now. How he's been able to point in different directions and say, hey, this is proof that these are a lot older than you want to give it credit for. And he was a news reporter. You know what I'm saying? Like he was a journalist. He's not scholarly. He didn't go to any of these institutions. He doesn't have facsimiles of any of these books sitting behind him. He's just asking
Yeah.
questions. And he's not saying I that bro, when I saw that clip of he's like, I am the foremost expert in ancient texts, I'm just like, what are you talking about right now? I didn't even know that this is the person that I was silently kind of supporting. You know what I mean? I didn't know that he got
Mm-hmm.
this crazy or this egotistical or this prideful or whatever it is. I do hope that it makes people still want to listen to some of the stuff that he says because of the fact that some things resonate with you and it makes you want to go and explore it in a different um on a different channel from a different source or something like that. You know what I mean? Whether it's inner earth, whether
Hmm.
it's anything that comes from above, I think his empire has crumbled, but it just has made a bigger splash in that pool of what is the stuff that he talks about. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, this guy got
Hmm.
embarrassed, but what is there? Okay, well, the book of the Barnabas is fake, but the book of Thomas isn't. Why isn't that in the Bible? Or like you said, the book of Enoch, like why isn't that in the Bible? Or the Gospel of Thomas, I mean. So
Hmm.
these are all things that I think are
Hmm.
still going to be good, even though we see the demise of something that just got too big. Is there
Yeah.
anybody else that you listen to, watch, or read um, that aren't in the same vein as him? We're not asking about 19 Keys, but just kind of not mainstream.
Why'd you rule out 19 Keys?
Because 19 Keys is right there next to him in my mind, bro.
He
No, bro.
he is. He really is. He really is. He is.
Um,
Like as aspirational as he is of a figure of a so-called thought leader and just being a millennial and all that type of stuff and just the virtue signals that he puts out, it all looks good, it sounds good, but it's like he's another one of those guys. He's a great salesman, man. I think he's a great person too. But I you just can't you can't wholeheartedly believe what he says and take it as gospel or truth because it's like he's just a guy like us, man, and he's just out there trying to sell some products, man.
And
That's
he and what Kanye taught me is you have to be obsessive about your product and about what you're selling, right? So
mhm,
there
mhm,
comes a point where you just get so focused on your mission and what you're doing that you kind of
mhm,
it from the outside in it looks like you're going crazy, but you're just so focused on really
mhm,
trying to push your message as far as it'll go. So I get that, you know what I'm saying? Like
mhm,
that, like you say, that's in sales
mhm.
as well. You really have to trick yourself into really buying in to all artists have to
Yep,
do that. So that's just another person where I'm just like,
yep,
as soon as it becomes a business, you know what I'm saying? I think the same thing of Reverend Ike. I'm not
mhm,
going to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but I'm not going to look
mm,
at him and be like, hey,
mhm,
that's a really trustworthy person. But I do still think that there's a lot
yeah,
of good things that both of them are saying. You know what I'm saying? So that's why.
yeah,
That's why I put him in that
yeah. I mean,
same category.
I feel you. But to answer your question, I think all of this is has been teaching me recently uh to like not really believe any I've always been like well, I don't say I've always been, but I've been fairly skeptical, you know what I'm saying, of a lot of things. But then there's certain things where, the confirmation bias and the conviction bias kicks in and some certain people have the halo effect on me and I'm inclined to believe what they say and not even critically think, what they're saying because I already agree. You know what I'm saying? But now I'm really at a point where I don't I don't believe nothing that nobody says, man. I don't. I really anything that I see on the internet, I suspect that you're trying to sell me something, and I'm cool with that. I'm like I'm indifferent to it. You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't feel no type of way about it. I don't have much of an opinion other than the thing that you're saying, and you're on the internet. You're trying to sell something, and I'm cool with that, but I'm not going to take this person as some real type of leader and some real type of influential person that wants the best for humanity because I just don't see that on the internet, and that's my position. You know what I'm
I
saying?
respect that. I definitely appreciate that.
Hmm.
It's a sobering thought that you kind of that we not fell into it, but that we didn't that I didn't. I'm not gonna say we. That I didn't give him a more rigorous investigation, right?
Mm.
Because shout out to Pocket Watcher JT or something like that. That last link that I
JT the Pocket Watcher.
bro,
Yeah.
he talked about him a year ago, man. Homeboy changed his last
Hmm.
name. Homeboy got convicted or arrested. Or, I don't know about convicted. I'm not gonna say convicted. But Homeboy changed his name. Homeboy got yeah, that's just a lot of really suspicious stuff around him, man. So uh,
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm real sad to see it, but I'm really happy at the same time. I just have to remember that trust the information, not the people. You know what I'm saying? This is a whole message kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like we can't throw away all the
Yeah.
information that is around him just because he proclaims himself to be the foremost expert. Like, okay, Barnabas is fake, the book of Barnabas or whatever you want to talk about. That's fake, but let's talk about what are the other books that were thrown out. Let's talk about why they were thrown out.
Yeah.
This
And
this
I
go ahead.
think the issue. No, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, bro.
Now I was just gonna this comes at a time for me where I am more curious about the Bible. I am more curious about
Mm,
how it pertains to my life. And
mm,
I kind of wanted to go down that line of thinking, but go
mm.
ahead and talk about what you were saying that what was the problem?
Nah, I think this like this whole phenomena, it doesn't now this stuff doesn't surprise me or it doesn't like take me I'm not taken aback for it as much because as you know, I grew up heavily Christian, grew up in the church and um grew up believe like I was skeptical, but then I just decided I'm gonna believe, I'm gonna go all in because why not, man? Everybody around me is doing it. I'm gonna take this on. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I did it. Now and I want to try I always want to try stuff out, I want to test it out, see how it works. And if it don't work out, it don't work out.
Mhm.
And it didn't work out, and that's cool. You know what I'm saying?
But it did
But
work out. It did work
I
out.
when
You
I
still had that community
well,
for such a long
it all
time. You had the family. You did all
right,
that.
right.
Like, it
That's
did work
true.
out.
That's true.
It's
Yeah,
just
it
not forever.
all things all things work together for the good of those that love God.
Mm,
That's a fact, right?
mm,
And so so then but then what I'm getting at is once I step back from the ideology of Christianity, then I'm able to like observe, right? And then as I observed, I noticed my curiosity going into cults and cult leaders and how they rise up and their childhood and what makes them a leader and then people and then why people gravitate towards them and how they are brought in and then how they become quote unquote radicalized and then they become fanatics and then they just full blown believe and then they put all of their trust and faith and energy into this
mm,
person
mm.
and in every cult documentary they all end the same
Yeah.
for the most part, except for the Mormon Church. They've done a great job, with all due respect. But it's like most cults go down in calamity, and they go down with the leader.
Mm,
Pride goes before the fall. This person starts noble, and then they get rich, and then they become prideful, and then they become a tyrant, and then everything crashes down with some type of illicit, sex, money, drugs, whatever, or a combination of all three, right? And it's just like this happens all the time. And this is another thing of the cult of celebrity, and what we're seeing all the time with these influencers and or just real celebrities or politicians or anybody who gets propped up by tens or hundreds of thousands or millions of people. They get propped up by like, by this group. And then they're up there. And then once you get up, there's nowhere to go but down for the most part. Unless you find a community of people up there that can support you. And but other than that, it's tough. So um when it comes to religion and or just any type of ideology that people gravitate towards, it kind of ends up in this cult like thing. You have all these people believing this one person and they think that everything that they say is true. And it's like, why can't we question what they say? Just because it seems like it, and they're getting all this credibility from, oh, he was on the Joe Rogan podcast and he was on the such and such back. Oh, he was on there too. So he gotta be spitting. And when he talked to Andrew Schultz, oh, that was fire, bro. Da, da, da. And it's like, he's just a person, man. He
mm.
could be wrong, just like your coworker or your neighbor could be wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Do
So
your Googles. Really important to do your Googles. That reminds me of
that's a fact.
um that reminds me, God, it was just right there. And it's gone just like that. There were two things, but the last thing that I was gonna say is holy shit.
Oh, but you said you was gonna write stuff down, bro. What happened?
Set up and just not making space. I was like, yo, it was just there. Holy shit. Hold on. I'm gonna cut all this out anyway. Bro, what you just said
I
was,
was talking about cults,
yeah, you were talking about cults.
celebrities,
I was
believing
gonna say
people.
first of all, two things. I remember two things. Thank you. The one thing is, yes, your father was an accountant, and then he became a lawyer, then he became a pastor.
Hmm.
I'm so glad to know that now, and I
Hmm.
don't think I'll ever forget it because of your TED Talk. So I wanted to say thanks
For
again for
sure.
being able to put that on and really giving us a glimpse into your life that I didn't even know that I should have asked those questions. And now I know for the rest of my life that that your people are from South Carolina. That's fire. Just to know that, like,
Yeah.
I know your people are from
North Carolina.
North. Greensboro's in North. Okay, my bad. Greensboro's in North.
Well, it's actually in both. Greenville. It's Greenville,
Greenville.
North and South, but we're from North. Yep. Yep.
Damn, I miss both of them. So,
It's
um,
all good. It's all good.
that was the one thing is I wanted to comment because you were talking about your family, and the second thing was Wild Wild Country, which is
Mm,
probably my favorite documentary of all time, and how
likewise.
that group of people, that cult, it really did feel like it had potential, but it's like socialism in a capitalistic society. Like it sounds good, but you can't introduce it here. You're not. It
Yeah.
can't get off. You know what I'm saying? Like it can't get off. It can't get off the ground. Like what those people built out there
Mm-hmm.
is still being used till today. They built something to
Mm-hmm.
last for each other. That compound that they
Mhm.
built, that Muddy Ranch, it'll always be burned in my memory as one of my favorite places that I was ever able to camp at. And it was like you could still see they just had to maintain. Like nobody had to tear anything down and build something better back up. It
Oh,
was
you camped over there?
yes, bro. I did yes, bro.
Oh, you didn't tell me that. You
Oh
didn't tell
yeah.
me that.
I went to Muddy Ranch and I took me and a friend, we took a 10-day hiking trip and camping trip. And we basically
Yeah.
that was the end goal. That was the only place I ever visited in Eastern Oregon was Muddy Ranch. Yeah. And it was probably
But
a month after
it's a it's
documentary.
a it's a young life
Yeah,
Young Life
it's a
camp
Christian
over there
camp
though.
now.
Yeah, yeah. I went there. I was there in high school. I didn't know that it
Wait,
was. I had no
what?
idea.
You went
Bro,
there?
I told you that. I told you that, bro. You don't remember
No,
that?
that's great. Maybe you did,
Bro, so
maybe you did.
I went there in high school for Young Life.
What?
I didn't know any of the history because I was born around that
Right.
time in the I was
Yeah,
born in
like,
'85.
who
So I
would
was
know that?
80. It was 81 to 85. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know any history of that. But I do vaguely. I not vaguely. I distinctly remember it was like one of our last days, and like we were all just like walking around and just kind of praying or whatever.
Mm,
And then one of my camp guides or chaperones, he was like, when it's quiet, it still has that eerie feeling of that cult. And I was like, what? And I didn't know what the hell she was talking about, and she didn't give me any context. And then I watched the documentary, was it 2019, 2020, whatever,
mhm.
or 2018, and I was just like, man, them hills look familiar. And I seen them sitting on the hills looking down at the water. I was like,
Right,
man, that little lake look familiar. Like, where is this? And then I like Googled it, and I was like, oh, that's the young. I was like, oh my god, bro, because I just had so many familiar feelings when I was watching. It's
That's
like, this
so
is weird. This
wild. Now
feels
you've
familiar.
never told me this story, bro. That's so
Yeah,
wild,
bro.
man. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, man.
I didn't even
That's
so you
yeah,
talk
straight up.
about since the '90s, it's still been Young Life. And they've upgraded, like, the
2000. Yeah,
slide
I
is,
went
like,
there.
3 stories
Yeah,
high, but all the buildings are still exactly the same.
it's
They've just upgraded
it's
the
probably even it's probably even more upgraded because I was there I was a sophomore or junior, so it was like 2000, 2001 ish, or maybe
Mm,
2000. Yes, it was early 2000s when I went,
gotcha.
and
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
you did
bro,
say sophomore.
and
Okay,
but
okay, okay, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, so it was like early
Wow,
2000s, man. So yeah,
bro,
it was wild.
that's amazing. And for you to love that
Yeah,
documentary as well, and I can see now why, because you literally have, like, a connection to that place, man, that you didn't even know until years
yeah,
later, but
I was there for a whole week, man, and
sure,
man, it was
man.
crazy, bro.
Took the
Yeah.
tour, everything, man. They just let my dog run around. I walked into every building. They had like the girls' quarters over there on the hill, that huge gymnasium.
Hmm.
Yo, if y'all haven't seen Wild Wild Country,
That gym is crazy. That gym is still crazy. Like it was like six or
still
seven
to
courts.
today
I was
to
like,
modern times, it's still
damn.
a
Yeah.
crazy gym, yo.
It's crazy gym, bro. It was the biggest gym I ever been in.
Ever,
And then
still
you know
today.
what? But you know what was set off my memories the most was them A-frame houses because they're still there.
It's still there, right, right.
Did you? Yeah,
Yeah,
and so I remember
those are the
walking
houses
on
we're
those
talking about, like,
trails.
the ones like the girls' quarters, the ones that are kinda up the hill from where the gymnasium is.
Yeah.
Mhm. I know exactly
Okay.
what you're talking
So y'all was okay. Yeah. So when I remember that was the only time I seen A-frame houses in my life, and I remember watching the documentary. I was like, man, that look familiar. Like, why does it? Like, what part of Oregon is this, bro?
Mm,
Blew my
that's
mind, fam.
that's
So
wild. That's so
yeah.
wild that you have that connection. Beautiful,
Yeah.
man. Yeah,
Mhm.
unfortunately, it usually just people and I don't know if there's a way to escape that. People fall in
Mhm.
love with the message, and then for whatever reason, they transfer it onto the messenger, right? And I guess
Mhm.
we've been
Mhm.
doing that with religion as well. The
Mhm.
reason why 3 people have been well, we'll talk about just one person. William Donahue on YouTube. I try to listen to him. I've been listening to him just whenever I'm on walks and stuff like that. I stopped and I'm like, I need to sit down and write. I need to take notes like it's an actual fellowship because the way that he's connecting the Bhagavad Gita with Roman texts with the Bible, the way that he's going
Mhm.
from Eastern philosophy, how Christ and Krishna, the way that he's really attacking, bro, they talked about the pineal gland in the Bible. They talked about the pineal
Mhm.
gland, bro. They talk about
Mhm.
the Maseroth. You remember that word, the Maseroth?
Not really. What
Maseroth,
is that?
it's the zodiac, bro.
Mm. Hmm.
There's quotes of Jesus saying, "How can the man not is a man not affected by Pleiades?" Like there's so many ways I've been misled to turn away from the Bible, and I really want to be able to. I'm not going to be one of these people that's saying, "Oh, it's this or it's that, it's allegory or it's a story." I don't know, but what I can say is I really want to connect it with what I believe to be a way to see the world. And
Mhm.
William Donahue has single-handedly been making me interested in the Bible more and more. Not as a story,
Mhm.
not as historical fiction, but as something way deeper. And the thing that convinces me about his approach to the Bible is he's saying all Jesus said is to, what does he say? If you make that if you make your eye single, your body will be filled with light, something to that effect. If thine eye be single, your body
Mhm.
will fill with light. And that talks about just going within, just listening to the inner self. The
Mhm.
teacher is within, Jesus is within. You don't even need to read the book. So he's like, start with just going within and then start reading the book. And I
Mhm.
love that approach because
Mhm.
he's like, yo, don't listen to me at all. Start from within. And I love that approach to the Bible. So I think I would really like to start my Bible journey with that kind of recipe or that kind of strategy to do it. But
Mm.
there's a lot this
Yeah.
year. My world views have changed. My world geolocation has changed. Like it has been
Mm.
a year to really, um, yeah, 2024 has been a year to remember for sure. A lot of changes that are going on, and it
Bro,
seems
tell me about your travels, bro. Cause
about
you've
my
been you've been moving around
I had an opportunity to
this
go
year,
out
20,
to go out
2024.
2024. Are we gonna start from most recent to the past? What was I doing last year? Last year Christmas time was a good time. But I didn't even know that I'd be back stateside last year Christmas time. Um, I was really enjoying myself. Made a transition from Central America back to the States. I'm in Florida now and I've been here since the summertime. And I always say the summer is like the worst time to ever be in Southern Florida. If you want to be in Florida, January, February, like right now is the time to be in Florida. But I guess I gotta cross those burning sands as well. And relocated back here to Florida and I got a really good job. I mean, that's just what it is right now. I'm making the transition to. Luckily, it's not like office politics. I got my own office, so I don't have to you know what I mean. I don't have to deal with any of that stuff, and that for me was the most
Yep.
attractive part of it. So, really blessed with that. Um, yeah, man, I'm just really happy. I'm really happy with trying to just get back into the swing of gainful employment while still plotting my exit.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I think when I
Mm.
have too much time, I can't allocate that time properly. But when I only have so much time to work on my side hustle and my side business, that's when I really take it seriously. You know what I'm saying? Like that's when I was like, oh,
Mm.
we need to
Yep.
make this conversation happen because I don't have time. I actually need to go to sleep because I got to be up and do whatever. So I'm really making this count
Straight up.
is something that I appreciate about the job right now. And I'm going to try my best to not lull myself into that false sense of like being comfortable. I wanted to ask you something.
Mhm.
You spent 10 years.
Mm.
This is such a gear switch. I want to make sure that anyway, this is a gear switch. Your TED talk is replaying in my mind, and you talked about the 10 years that you spent in sales, and those 10 years were
Mhm.
like early to mid 20s to early to mid 30s.
Mhm.
If you could do it again at this age, let me say this. Sometimes I feel self-conscious that I haven't built what you've built and we're the same age, right? Sometimes I'm like, wow,
Mm.
I could have this, I could have that, I could have that if I had played the game this way. I
Mm.
chose I chose to build later on in life and play early in life.
Mhm. Mm.
Are you at all curious about the opposite way you've approached life until 40, until we're going to be 40 this next year together? Um
Mhm.
would are you talk to me about it. Talk to me about that. I am curious about your
Yeah.
if I'd have done what you did in your 20s versus what I did in my 20s. And I wonder,
Yeah.
are you as curious as well?
Absolutely. I would. So are you asking like if I could do it again, would I do it differently? Would I like
Right.
continually build, go into corporate America, start a family, or would I just kind of go and freelance and just do
Figure it out.
whatever? You know what I'm saying? Just like experience. Um, I would say yes, and it's kind of hard to because it's all hypothetical, but like I think whatever I think that's the part of life that um it kind of causes a level of hurt and pain and like dis what is the word I'm trying to get? Like we just get thrown off our square when we think about the other side,
100%. 100%. Undue stress.
right? And it's always like, wait, what if I did
Right.
it this way?
Right.
Or
Right.
what if I did it that way?
Right.
And then it's just like, what did J. Cole say? It's no life and the life that's better than yours or something. What's you know what I'm talking about? No such
Oh, is
thing,
it
no
that,
such
that
thing.
hook? You're thinking of hook right now. That's but I know what you mean.
Yeah. So
I
it's
don't
just
remember the
like
hook.
it's like my life could have been different,
Mm,
right? Like it would have been cool to just travel and not go into corporate America, but then I would long to be able to have that level of stability and experience and cachet in my later years. And right now, I literally long for the sense of freedom and being able to travel and do all the things. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's always going to be this tension of
mm.
doing the thing that you didn't do, right? And so there is that tension, and I will the next 10 years of my life will look more like me trying to do all the things that I didn't do in my 20s, right? And then there may be the next 10 years of somebody else's life like, well, damn, I wanted to do I want to do those things that these people were doing at this,
Mhm.
so it's just like it is what it is, but um that's just my life, that's my experience, and
I
it's
agree
just
with that
life,
for
man.
sure.
And we only got one of them, so it's like
Yeah.
what I think the best answer and the realest answer is it is what it is, and I'm going. But now I like that. Now that we're reaching 40, we have this level of clarity, and we have so much agency in taking our life in the direction that we want to take it. And I'm really grateful to be in that position mentally and physically, having that agency to make the choices and do exactly what I want to do. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
yes. Yeah, being able to whatever you yeah, like, you're traveling in these next 10 years is gonna look so much better. It's gonna be so much more dialed in. It's gonna be so much more thoughtful. It's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
so much more just like
Mm-hmm.
so much more not even just structured because I'm sure you're gonna leave time and space for opportunity to happen, but it's just gonna be
Mm-hmm.
you're not gonna just make careless mistakes or faults, and that's interesting about these years. Like no matter what you do, you're dialed in. So you can make these years
That's
count
a
in a
fact.
way that'll take you double. What I can do in the next 10 years, it might have taken me from 20 to 40 to accomplish or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what I do from 40 to 50 is going to be exponentially, I think anyway. But there is that you're right about that tension. You're right about that tension like Um, two songs that make me two lines I remember when I hear that is Jay-Z's "Gotta Learn to Live with Regrets," right? Like that's just, and I wouldn't even call
Mm-hmm.
it a regret. It was just opportunity loss. Got to learn to live with opportunity loss because at the end of the day, we can only choose one of these two paths. And it reminds me of a Jay Electronica song, Fat Belly Bella. Um,
Mm.
and he talks about the beginning of the song is like I said, "I love you, baby, but you don't act like it. Squeeze my feet, kiss my neck, rub my back like it." And on the phone, it's just, "You gonna hit me back right quick. First we were straight, now it feels like we jackknifing. Kamikaze love." And anyway,
Mm,
there's a line in there where he talks about um, like, think about marriage, carriage, and horses. Man on a hectare of land like a fortress. I hope you understand me. I'm cold like New York. My heart is warm like Miami. And there's so much of that tension of like, man, was I too cold here, or was I being my authentic self here, or was I giving her this or that? And so much of it, so much of life is parallel with love and our opportunities in love and our opportunities in life and what we've given up in both to be able to foster, whatever cachet, whatever relationship, whatever family, whatever community. Because I keep on thinking back to the earlier
mhm,
conversation where you talked about, how that life didn't work for you, but it worked for that version of you so well. You know what I'm saying? You just became a
fact,
very different person.
fact,
You blossomed, like that
mhm,
caterpillar had to go into the cocoon. And now like this, like you're
mhm,
getting fly, bro. So it isn't
appreciate
a
that.
failure. Nothing you've done so far. And I have to remember that too. Nothing we've done so far is a failure. It's just a different
Nothing, yeah, nothing. I mean, if I would say if you, especially if you dodged prison, a long sentence, you know what I'm saying? Like nothing you done is, even if you went to prison, like that's, if you make it out, if you were alive, man, if you're alive and you got your health and you got your mind and you can move and think and do what you know what I'm saying, you can determine what your next move is, man. Nothing is a failure because we have the present moment, which is a gift, and we can make our decisions on what we're gonna do today, tomorrow, and the next week and the next year. You know what I'm saying? So we like everything is a win. You know what I'm saying?
every it's funny. I was
Because
just
we
thinking
we
about
here, we here,
yeah,
bro.
and there's so many. I mean, there's so many reasons not to be. There's so many reasons
Hmm.
that could have, clipped us, or we couldn't have been born in the first place. I think about that all the time. Like, I wish if there was anything, if I
Hmm.
had a genie, and that genie gave me one wish, that one wish would be to wake up every morning, and that enthusiasm that you're talking about. Like, we're here. If I could feel that all day, every day, you know what I mean? Like, thinking that's gonna be my last day, so I got to get it in. Um,
Hmm.
That'd be dope. That'd be a great way. It's just become, another day. Just gonna try our best
Yeah.
to make it happen, man. I don't want to let this go too long. Are there any closing words? Is there anything we didn't cover? Thank you for taking this time out with me to chop it up. We haven't done this since 2021. You know what I
I
mean?
know we got to do this more often, bro. Yeah, just an hour of talking, bro. It's just I'm not. It's not enough. Oh, it's not
It's
enough. We
not
got we
enough.
got to do more.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not enough,
But we
man.
got to pace ourselves,
Yeah,
man. We getting to that age now, man. We can't just jump back into
that's
it.
a fact.
Yeah.
That's a
This,
fact.
this is our
That's a
stretching
fact.
right here, yeah. So I'm glad we did this. I'm
Straight up,
hoping that
straight
this
up.
this footage works well because we can get both audios clear and both videos clear. I think this would be a great way for us to do this on a consistent basis.
Definitely, bro. So moving forward, what is it? Monday night.
Monday night.
So are Monday nights is that optimal for you, bro?
Monday nights work. Monday nights work well.
Okay. It typically works for me too, bro. So I'm
Hey,
I'm
Monday
with it.
nights work well. Okay. All right.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Sheesh,
sir.
we doing this.
Coming off the weekend.
Right,
Coming off the
exactly right.
weekend, we might as
Exactly right.
well.
And worst case scenario,
And
like I'll
actually,
be here.
I do think it's good if we do every as many Mondays as possible, and then keep it to an hour so that like it's
Exactly.
focused, it's
Exactly.
fresh,
Exactly.
and it's just boom, and it's fit. No, I'm just playing, not fresh and
No,
fit, but
it is
if it's
though. It is. It's toy. It's toy.
nah, hell no, them niggas is crazy, bro.
Brother, good for you.
I'm good on
Good
that.
for you. Good to see you. I can't I can't I
Likewise,
can't tell you how proud I am to be able to like really learn from you. And on what better stage than a TEDx platform? Like I'm just really, really happy for you. And I know it's gonna do numbers. I just can't wait for it. Can't wait till they know because I'm gonna be like, yo, I've been here.
man. Oh,
Oh,
but don't flatter me, bro, man.
come
It's
on,
all
bro.
love,
Come on,
man.
man.
You
I'm
know
flattering
what I'm
myself because
saying?
I'm in good company. You know what I'm saying? What they say,
Straight up.
tell me the 5 people you kick it with, and I'll tell you what your trajectory is. So I'm keeping you
Straight up.
posted,
That's
and
real.
I hope I represent you well. Thank you again for showing up, and let's do this
Thank you, bro.
in a week, yo. What's up?
Let's do it.
Bet.
Right back at it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Salute, man.
All right, man. Peace out.
That was fantastic.